Have you guys heard about the discourse surrounding Elden Ring's DLC that Shadow of the Erdtree is far too difficult, okay? He had Asmongold very publicly stop playing the game and derided its difficulty, and to be completely honest, I'm not exactly full up on the situation. I'm sure that it's far more complex than a notorious gamer not being able to get good. Or maybe it is that simple. I don't know. People are playing it. I don't know if they're enjoying it as much as using it as different ways to really break some interesting stories, right? Because you had Kotaku use it as a means in order to promote Alyssa Mercante's unbridled narcissism. You had Dr. Disrespect announce his indefinite leave from streaming while playing the game. It's been quite the, I don't know if it's appropriate to say that it's been the story in gaming, but it has definitely kicked off a fair few controversies for sure. Everybody's had its 2 cents on the game, but I think probably the fairest take so far comes from Helldivers 2 director, who weighs in on Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree's difficulty. A game for everyone is a game for no one. Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, that's pretty fair. I know why I don't really want to delve into the more traditional Souls games because, yeah, you have to get really good at a game. And are those skills really transferable to anything else, to real life outside of just more Souls-like style games? Not that I can see. So, yeah, I'm not interested in dedicating that much time. I'm sure that they're fun. I know that they're well made. They have their audience. I'm not trying to take away your Souls-like games. They're not for me. I respect them for what they are. Let's look at this. Okay, despite its critical success, most of the discourse surrounding Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, it involves how difficult the game is, with many players bogged down by brutal boss fights and unforgiving environment. It's got so bad that the DLC is currently at mixed reviews on Steam. That's interesting, because that's a reasonably unbiased forum to have these discussions, as many players agree it's too hard to be enjoyable, but even still, there are some fans who think that the high skill ceiling is a great feature, and one that makes FromSoft games stand out. One such person is Helldivers 2 director Johan Pilsted, who recently began replying to Shadow of the Erdtree players, discussing its difficulty and talking about why he actually likes it. The games industry is now big enough for there to be so many exciting experiences for all audiences. I try to imagine having the variety when I was 10. It would have been mind-blowing. A game for everyone is a game for no one, Pilsted said. Always cater to a select audience. Which is hilarious coming from, another controversy-laden game that came off the beginning of the year as a massive success, one that looked like a runaway freight train in regards to its popularity, but then of course ended up getting tripped up by numerous controversies. Okay, you had the PSN account debacle. They managed to shake that, but then there was this other one that came out revolving around their community managers. One ended up getting axed, another one with an axe to grind, banning people that were not down for the furry art on the Discord, wanting to deride anybody to simply keep personal politics out of the discussion, saying that those people are bigots. And it kind of looks like, at least from the outside looking in, that Helldivers 2 is siding with said community managers because they have a handbook that comes from the development staff, instructs moderators to ban players who are opposed to identity politics being injected into video games. Oh, now I can kind of see why people have stopped ardently defending the game and have just chosen to explore other ways to defend democracy. An alleged community manager handbook for Helldivers 2 instructs the game's moderators to ban players who are opposed to identity politics being injected into video games, which is so funny, right? Because one of the things that people were pointing at and going, we like you, Arrowhead Studios, okay, keep doing that, is when a bunch of freaks, who the community managers would be more than willing to side with, were asking for pride flags on their Helldivers. Okay, they wanted personal politics in the games, but the developers went, nah, we ain't doing that. So where's the disconnect? Okay, what is it? Grums ended up getting the screenshot. Big shock on that one, because he's been spearheading this campaign. It's like, yeah, Helldivers 2 has a lot of potential. It's just getting bogged down by its woke ideologues. Can we fix this? He wrote, Helldivers 2 Discord is not the political neutral space. It you think it is. The mods think you are a bigot should you be banned on site for saying that you don't want identity politics in games, he added. This unconfirmed Helldivers 2 Community Manager Handbook seems overall well written, sensible, but there are two interesting things about it. The first is the example given. Any talk about not wanting identity politics in games is an insta-ban. No warning necessary. They consider it hate speech. Oh, is this one of those dog whistles we used to hear about all the time? And a violation of their first rule, okay? Helldiver mods feel that the phrase, they feel the phrase, identity politics is code for any minority, and by saying that you don't want identity politics, you are saying that you are a racist bigot and actually don't want POCs in games. Oh, okay, yes, so it is that dog whistle. This is a massive false assumption that fundamentally misunderstands the issue. Yeah, exactly. The screenshot shared by Grums states a new user declares that identity politics has no place in video games, either Helldivers 2 or some other franchise. It then details outcome immediate ban. This is a direct violation of rule number 1 of our server. Identity politics is code for marginalized group like POC and transgender people. Cool. Like if somebody comes onto the Discord to discuss, hey, I like Helldivers 2 and how it doesn't have certain trappings of modern game studios in the West, we're so happy that we have a different take on the world, and you're going to end up getting banned for that because you're a racist. Strange. Grums added, gamers are just tired of woke politics and preachy lectures and poorly implemented stories and characters for the sake of shoving the message down everyone's throats. Gamers have always been welcomed, or has always welcomed well-written characters of all types. Yeah. And also, even if your even if your game is light on story, like Helldivers 2 is, you have fun gameplay, that's fine too. People will like that. Hell, they liked it to the tune of there being, 500,000 concurrent players of your game, being the best-selling game of the year so far. But the moderators of Helldivers 2 appears to have put most gamers into a bucket of hateful bigots, and are free to act accordingly without even a warning. As for the second point, he said, second interesting thing is the famous no politics stance of Helldivers Discord is missing from the handbook. It's not there. Maybe it never was. Ooh, that's a very interesting one. Okay, Grums went on to share more screenshots from the handbook and subsequent posts. Very interesting. Okay, just taking a look at these different pages. Okay, encourage community engagement, communicate effectively, review and revise basic mod tips, reduce tension. Okay, keep users on topic, right? Be available. Sensible rules like, okay, if a user joins and just simply engages in shameless self-promotion, get them out of the server. That totally makes sense, right? Just seems to be a reprint of that page. Then of course, obviously, just a who's page, but then the final page that ends up getting linked out to, okay, if you're struggling, please reach out to community managers. We appreciate and care for you. About the moderators, support you as best you can, mental health resources and all that stuff, unless of course you're one of those hateful bigots, then you can burn in a lake of fire. It's not surprising that anyone in the game's Discord moderators banned multiple users for using a vomit emoji reacting to, yes, gay furry art. Moderator, Tetra Catart, sure, who lists pronouns she, they, and they, them in her bio, as well as featuring the big gay rainbow, and currently uses the name username a mouse, posted on June 10th. Last time we talked about this. Gender identity is not politics, it's literally somebody's identity. Here in the Helldivers 2 server, we have a zero tolerance policy, which we can go ahead and confirm with that handbook that's not allowed. What isn't allowed is the negativity towards people trying to celebrate who they are, which it's like, ma'am, this is a Wendy's. We're here to talk about a game, not what you do with your junk, what makes it move, what makes it cut off, what you've replaced it with. It doesn't matter, man. We're here to talk about squashing the bugs. We're here to talk about defending democracy. But does that end up treading into personal politics if you're a supporter of democracy? It gets very, very sketchy. And like elaborating on Tetra Cat Art's relationship with her parents, or they-them's parents. It's just, from the outside looking in, man, Helldivers 2 should be a massive success, but then it just lets freaks, absolute freaks, overrun the asylum. And you see it time and time again. Developers with the best of intentions. Johan Bilstead seems like a pretty base dude. He wants what's best for his company, but when you don't, pay attention to everything that goes on in the machinations, when you don't pay attention to the inner workings of your company, that's when the freaks start to come in. And eventually, if given enough time, if given enough leeway, they will work their way into the levers of power, and then you end up with a, flintlock type situation. Did a video on that not that long ago, where yeah, everything was going all well and swimmingly over at A44 Studios, and then eventually the ideologue started to come in, and then this game that we've been working on for a while fundamentally changes from the ground up. It gets left in ruins after everybody cashes their check and leaves town, and we're left in the aftermath. So while Helldivers 2 was a massive success, will it return? Will, with new patches, with new content being released, it comes back to its most profitable days? Who ultimately knows? I hope so, especially for the people that enjoy it, and especially for the people at Arrowhead Studios right now. But will Helldivers 3 have a bigger say from the community manager side of things? Will some of those community managers work their way into more permanent positions at Arrowhead Studios? Time will tell, but we've seen this game play out before, and we know the ultimate end game of it. And well, there are countless game studio corpses to just count, to learn from their failures, and not repeat them. I'm looking at you, BioWare. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.